covering news that matters. Fox 23 News at 9 starts right now.
It's heartbreaking for me and my family.
Yes, we begin tonight with a homicide investigation in Midtown Tulsa where a man was dragged by an SUV. I'm Clay Loney.
And I'm Shay Rossi. Fox 23's Mariah Ellis is reporting live after talking exclusively with the victim's family. Mariah.
Yes, Jessica, one of Stephen Cook's children, said she never got an official goodbye, although she did hear from him one last time before Thanksgiving, telling her that he loved her and was thinking of her.
He was a very loving, funny, outgoing. Anybody really loved him that ran into him, seen him.
Those were the words used to describe 54-year-old Stephen Cook, many who knew him as Steve. He was a father of 5.
That's me and him. We had rented a four-wheeler in Florida.
His daughter, Jessica Cook, shared with us some of her fondest memories of her father.
I'll always remember him by his big blue eyes.
Jessica says he had a heart condition, never knowing 2 months ago at a Tulsa hospital would be the last time she would ever see him again.
It was very shocking. Very, very shocking.
Jessica says she called her father shortly after 5 Wednesday night, but never heard back. It wasn't until midnight when she woke up to 6 missed calls. Tulsa detectives found Cook unconscious outside of Ryan's convenience store off of South Braden. They say Cook was dragged a few feet by an SUV after suspects tried to take a satchel he carried. He died shortly later at a hospital.
I don't know if he knew these people or if they had just called him to the vehicle and my dad went. You know, like I said, he's a very outgoing person.
With so many questions unanswered, Jessica says she and her family can only pray for closure.
I don't know if he deserved this. It's heartbreaking for me and my family.
The family says anyone who has information is asked to help. Tulsa police say this investigation is ongoing. Live covering news that matters, Mariah Ellis, Fox 23 News.
All right, Mariah, we are closely monitoring the possibility of storms strong enough to generate tornadoes tomorrow evening. Let's get right to certified meteorologist Brad Carl in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center.
Well, it certainly won't be an equal chance for everyone, but we are keeping a very close eye on areas, particularly southeast of Tulsa, where we'll have that higher risk in place because of all the ingredients that will come together in terms of the instability, in terms of deeper moisture to work with. But Tulsa and the metro isn't completely out of the running for that either, just not quite as many of those stronger storms, but really that risk does extend across really all of green country. As far as those risks, yes, there is the possibility at least of those tornadoes, at least a slight chance for that, but also looking at a decent chance for some stronger winds as well as some larger hail upwards around golf ball or even possibly tennis ball sized for us in going into Friday evening. Now coming up, I've got the latest timing on these possible storms moving on in and when you want to be prepared for that possibility of severe weather.
New tonight, Tulsa police detectives say someone is taking advantage of the holiday season to steal money from local businesses. Fox 23's Lynn Casey joins us live with what to watch out for so there aren't any more victims. Lynn.
Right now, it is big-time gift card giving season, especially for businesses. You give them to employees, clients, business partners. Somebody figured that out and they started cashing in.
2 cases back to back. We're looking at $3,500 in 2 days.
It starts with an email that looks like it's from your boss.
Saying like how we were doing well this year, so we just wanted to share a couple of gift cards today.
One employee that was victimized was out of the area but described what happened by phone. In both cases, they were asked to go immediately and buy thousands in gift cards for places like Amazon and Home Depot so the company can give them as gifts to employees and clients.
I was thinking like this is a good thing, like I don't mind doing this favor.
What's interesting in both of these cases is that the suspects ask for the gift card numbers.
The email asks the employee to either scan or snap a picture of the gift card. Then the email asks them to send those copies on to the company's bookkeeper for their records.
That's normal for their businesses. They're used to sending gift cards, to customers or employees, and so these secretaries thought that they were doing what they were asked.
At different points, both employees realized they were getting scammed by someone only posing as their boss, but they'd already bought the gift cards. One of them called Home Depot and spoke to several departments.
None of them were able to recover the the gift cards.
Because it had already been spent.
Already been spent.
When scammers get you to send them gift cards, they can turn it into cash by immediately buying expensive things to use up the money on the card.
All the stuff shipped to them, they'll go pawn it real quick or return it, and they'll get the cash.
Now, TPD says there's an easy fix here. It might feel weird, but if somebody emails you and asks you to buy gift cards, call your boss or talk to them face to face and make sure that it wasn't somebody posing as them. Reporting live in East Tulsa, covering news that matters, I'm Lynn Casey, Fox 23 News.
New tonight, a local woman is in custody accused of leaving the scene of a deadly accident. Troopers say Antonio Beal of McAllister was driving a white van with a wheelchair lift that hit and killed Curtis Wayne back on November 20th, just south of McAllister. Troopers say OHP Facebook followers helped lead them to Beal. Troopers say Beal tried to hide that van. She is now in the Pittsburgh County Jail.
A man and a woman in wheelchairs were hit by a car tonight as they tried to cross a street in North Tulsa. That happened just before 6:30 on 89th East Avenue near Independence. Police say there were few lights there and that the driver simply could not see them. So officers say the driver will not be cited. The two people in the wheelchairs are expected to recover. Tomorrow, hundreds of students in Sand Springs will finally return to classes. It's for the first time in 3 days. On Monday, a heater malfunction caused a carbon monoxide contamination at Clyde Boyd Middle. Some 50 kids got sick because of that. The school has put in a replaced heater, put a better heater in now, gone through inspections, and carbon monoxide detectors are now installed.
New tonight, a downtown Tulsa hotel closed after an escalator fire will be closed longer than originally expected. Earlier this month, we brought you breaking news of the fire at the Hyatt Regency near 2nd and Boston. Staff and about 400 guests were forced outside while firefighters cleared the smoke. The hotel originally hoped to be open by December 1st, but now they say they will likely not house any guests until mid-January.
A local woman is now charged with killing 2 of her children and shooting a third, Amy Hall, in Okmulgee County, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and shooting with intent to kill. Investigators say it was the night of November 1st. 18-year-old Kaysen Tolliver and his 16-year-old sister Chloe died. The woman's 14-year-old daughter was wounded but survived, reportedly after taking the gun away from her mother. People in the community still cannot believe it happened.
Crazy. I mean, they're all about to graduate high school and you're taking away everything that was about to be good for them and just taking it away, stripping everything from them.
Amy Hall is expected to enter a plea at her next court appearance December 20th.
Tomorrow, a New Mexico man is expected to appear in an Oklahoma courtroom after authorities say they found him in a Chakota motel with a 13-year-old girl. On Wednesday, multiple agencies assisted in the arrest of Jacob Gardia. Investigators say Gardia was found with that teen who was taken from her home outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Investigators aren't sure how the girl met Gardia, but they say he sexually assaulted her. New tonight, Oklahoma's Attorney General is pursuing murder charges against 2 people accused of selling the drugs involved in a man's overdose death. Today, AG Mike Hunter filed felony murder charges against Alex Schmidt and Tony Heath. Hunter's office says Eric Adams overdosed and died a day after buying heroin from Heath, who was working with Schmidt. The 2 face several other drug-related charges. The Tulsa Police SWAT team is getting a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to compete halfway around the world in the country of Jordan. Tulsa SWAT was one of just 2 teams from the U.S. to compete in the competition to get an invitation to compete in the competition against nearly 50 other teams from around the world. It's an intense competition meant to determine who's the best, something Tulsa SWAT says is a dream come true.
It is this on steroids. Disneyland for officers or for SWAT guys specifically.
It's going to cost around $35,000 to go. All the money will come from fundraisers and donations. The donation, will go through the TPD Foundation and will be tax deductible.
New details tonight in a case of alleged extortion we told you about last night. Dominic Waterdown and Sandra Howard accused of threatening to kill a man if he didn't give them money. Fox 23's Jackie Del Pilar reporting live for us with the sting that led to the arrest, Jackie.
Deputies tell me they worked with that victim to lure the suspects to a meeting point. Once they were there and made that transaction, that's when investigators swooped in to make their arrest. It started with a text message. Investigators say an unknown number texted a man Monday telling him if he didn't give them thousands of dollars, they would kill him and a loved one.
Gave him a deadline, that day that he was going to kill him as well as a family member.
Investigator Aaron Swayze tells me the sheriff's office immediately stepped in. When the number contacted the victim a second time, deputies worked with him to arrange a meetup.
We instructed the victim to start, talking with him, find out where he wanted to meet.
30 minutes later, undercover officers and deputies were staked out at a local gas station. Deputies say a woman walked up to the victim's car, made a transaction, then got back in her car and drove off. A team of takedown officers were right behind her and pulled her over. They arrested Sandra Howard and Dominic Waterdown, who was also in the car.
I'm kind of shocked, but not shocked.
This man lives near the sting. He says he's glad the suspects were caught before they could do any physical harm.
Money's the root of all evil, and so there you go. People are going to be doing some bad stuff.
The suspects are each facing extortion and conspiracy charges. Deputies tell me the arrest would not have been possible without the help of the victim.
It wouldn't have worked out any other way other than, have him play the role that he did in this.
Now, deputies say the victim and the suspects were acquaintances, but they did not know each other very well. They say, we hear about these scams all the time, threatening phone calls, but they tell me that these threats were pretty specific, which made them think that these people were local, so they wanted to make sure to catch them before anyone got hurt. Reporting live in Okmulgee, covering news that matters, I'm Jackie Del Pilar, Fox 23 News.
New tonight, the Department of Environmental Quality and other state agencies announced funding for new electric vehicle charging stations. The Charge OK program is offering around $3.1 million in grants for people to buy, install, and operate charging stations around Oklahoma. The purpose, of course, is to increase the use of electric vehicles in the state. The 1921 Tulsa Race Riot Centennial Commission is now the Race Massacre Commission and no longer has the word riot. The commission wanted to more accurately reflect what happened to African Americans during that tragic event. The new logo still has the word riot, but you just saw there it was crossed out to keep the conversation about this dark part of Tulsa's history going. The commission is hoping to use the change as a teaching tool for the community.
Still on track for storms, and the possibility of severe weather going on into our Friday evening is increasing. I've got a look at the latest timeline of those storms rolling on in and who is most at risk.
I'm not happy about it because I know it makes my insurance rates go up.
Smashing car windows to get what's inside. Coming up, the woman Tulsa police arrested and what else she's accused of doing. But first, the arrest of a local emergency management director who authorities say was impersonating a police officer. How investigators say he did it and when.
New tonight, more information involving an OSBI investigation now into the Pawnee County Emergency Management Director accused of impersonating a police officer. This is Mark Randall. He turned himself in this morning. He is bonded out. Fox 23's Kaylee Doherty is reporting live after talking with him and with the sheriff. Kaylee.
I spoke to Randall after he bonded out today, and he says these charges are false. I spoke to him on the phone. He's accused of making an arrest while impersonating an officer. Pawnee County Emergency Management Director Mark Randall bonded out Thursday morning after he turned himself in. OSBI officials say Randall is accused of impersonating a police officer.
Hearing this, it's concerning.
Officials say between April of 2015 and January 2018, Randall responded to several emergency calls. And he's accused of making a traffic stop and an arrest under the impression that he was a police officer. I spoke to Randall on the phone, and he tells us these charges are false and stem from a long personal dispute with Sheriff Mike Waters. Sheriff Waters tells us he and Randall have had their differences, but says that's not the reason for the charges. The sheriff says if convicted, Randall could serve up to a year in the county jail with a possible fine.
This is the first I've heard about it, and I hope they can get to the bottom of it.
If you'd like to see Randall's full written statement on these charges, you can find it on our website, fox23.com. Reporting live in Pawnee, covering news that matters, I'm Kaylee Doherty, Fox 23 News.
New tonight, one Oklahoma Highway Patrol trooper received a new bulletproof vest today after his old one protected him from a bullet during a shootout. Back in May, Trooper Sammy Lee and 6 other troopers were serving a high-risk warrant on a man in Tallahena. The suspect, Bradley Webster, opened fire on them when they tried to enter his home. You can see from this photo the vest protected him from what could have been a very serious injury. Yeah, that was a very scary situation. I remember us reporting on that.
So it looks like we're going to close out November with a risk of some very strong storms.
I know. Oklahoma has some of the craziest weather.
Yeah.
Certified meteorologist Brad Carl's in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center for James tonight, tracking when we'll see the highest threat tomorrow.
Well, it's not going to be when we first wake up in the morning. Your Friday morning will be quiet, but as we get into Friday evening, especially as people have plans going out and about, that's when we're going to get into these chances for storms coming our way. Nothing like that to make your Friday night a little bit more exciting. Let's talk about just how we're going to be breaking things out for our Friday. Overall, it's going to be a cloudy and warm day for us. Despite the cloud cover, we're still likely to see temperatures well above average on into the low 70s. So it'll be very nice and comfortable, at least initially for us. But then as we go on to Friday evening, that's when that severe threat becomes more pronounced for us. And then going beyond that into the late part of the weekend and certainly on to next week, temperatures take a dive. And get this, we're actually going to be talking about the possibility of winter weather, not just once, but twice next week. Just showing you how topsy-turvy Oklahoma likes to keep things as we're going into fall. Let's talk about when we're going to be seeing these storms come along first off, though. And going on through Fox 23 radar predictor into the morning, I don't have clouds drawn on this, I just have radar, but it will be a cloudy start to things for the day. It really will stay cloudy throughout the day for us, but no storms just yet. The light green you see out there toward the west and northwest of the area, I think that's mostly just moisture that radar predictor is picking up on as opposed to actual rain. We're going to have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere to work with. I think overall that's what it's picking out on. But you begin to see more of these little popcorn little shapes showing up. Those are what I believe will be our first inklings of storms to try to get going. Probably right around the 6 o'clock hour. I think the bigger line will be farther off toward Oklahoma City, Enid, and out toward I-35. But you do notice there are some storms that fire up ahead of that line, and these ones could be supercells, potentially being able to rotate too, and that would also give us our isolated tornado threat, at least in certain spots. As we go through 8 to 9 o'clock, that line continues to inch its way closer to Tulsa. We still have these isolated storms off to the east. And boy, by 9 o'clock looks to be a big mess. Lots of the way of storm coverage all across green country, continuing on through 10 and 11 o'clock. By 11, I think most of the storms we're going to be seeing will be toward the periphery and the edge of green country. And by midnight, for the most part, I think we'll be done with those storm chances that all have moved off into the east, off toward Missouri and Arkansas. That highest opportunity for any kind of strong to severe storms, though, will be generally southeast of Muskogee down toward McAllister and Sallisaw. Lesser chances the farther northwest you go. The main risk we're watching, upwards of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. On the higher side with the possible hail, you could see golf to tennis ball size hail. Not all the hail is going to be that big, but that's how potentially big it could be. And a few tornado warnings will be possible. We have a lot of wind shear to work with, so these storms can rotate and probably will as we go on into Friday evening. In the morning, temperatures will be on into the mid-40s for us. It'll be mostly cloudy, and that will kind of be the story for us throughout the day. Daytime highs themselves going to be on into the low 70s. That best opportunity for storms to come our way between 6 p.m. and midnight. Then quieting down into Saturday and Sunday, getting cooler as well. And then look at this, a chance for a rain-snow mix going on to Monday. That's quite the turnaround from things. I mean, keep things cool on into Tuesday as well. Highs only in the upper 30s. Now on Fox 23 News after the game, we'll be breaking down for you the latest timing on those storms and also look at which threats will be the highest for your neighborhood as we push on to Friday evening.
The investigation in Tulsa into the death of this man who was dragged by an SUV and the search for the suspects. Our coverage picks back up on Fox 23 News Friday morning from 4 to 9. But up next, smashed car windows across Tulsa, what police believe one woman was trying to get to.
New tonight, Tulsa police arrested a woman they say went around town smashing windows and stealing purses. They say Sandra Perry took the credit cards she found inside and used them to buy gift cards. Fox 23's Paris Holmes is reporting live with one of the ways investigators say they linked Perry to the crime. Paris.
Police said they took pictures taken from security video at Walmart to identify Perry, and then they tracked her down to the motel she was staying at and recovered even more evidence.
Shame on you. Nobody should think that they can take things away from someone else.
Tulsa police say in the last month, this woman, Sandra Perry, took a lot of things from people. They say about 4 weeks ago, they got reports of car windows being smashed open in parking lots at Turkey Mountain, LaFortune Park, and Riverside Drive. The victims' purses were stolen. Tulsans around the city not amused.
I'm not happy about it because I know it makes my insurance rates go up. you know, and I'm glad I don't carry a purse in my car.
One of the victims told police her credit card was used at this Walmart on 81st and Lewis for just over $800. When investigators checked security video, they identified Perry using it at the register.
It just makes me mad why people would even think of doing that.
According to arrest reports, Perry is a serial burglar known to steal credit cards and buy as many gift cards as she can. Police say they tracked her down to Knight's Inn in East Tulsa. Police say when they searched Perry's car, they found the victim's purse. And in the purse, several gift cards from Walmart.
Who wants to go to jail for 3 or 4 years because they broke in a window and got $200 at Walmart? Really?
Police say when they searched Perry's room, they found more stolen purses and several Oklahoma driver's licenses in various names. In the arrest report, detectives say that Perry admitted to using the credit cards, but she says she received the stolen items from someone else. Reporting live in East Tulsa, covering news that matters. I'm Paris Holmes, Fox 23 News.
All right, so it'll at least be calm tomorrow morning before the storms.
Before the storms that we have rolling in for the evening. Here once again is the outlook for who will see that highest chance, generally southeast of Tulsa, though I do think isolated strong storms, including the possibility of large hail, damaging winds, and yes, even a few tornado warnings will be possible for these areas really from Tulsa and southeast. So do keep an eye on that. We certainly will be over the next day.
All right. As always, thanks for watching Fox 23 News.
Have a great night.